So there was a video that a lady did. I can't stitch it because she has stitching turned off, and it looks like downloading's not available either. What I'll do is I'll add her in the tag portion of this video, and then I'll throw in the link to that video. Otherwise, I would stitch it for you guys. She did a deep dive on Way Out Revolution would be exceptionally difficult, and she covered a lot of points that, and she articulated in a way that I would not be good at. I'm just not good at certain things, but she covered pretty much all that. And the only thing I want to add further to that conversation, the one thing I feel she didn't get in there, not that she didn't get enough, because just the reason she has explains a bit difficult because everything would be cut off, is that this country's divided. That's not an accident. George Carlin used to talk about this, that they want to keep us divided. They're going to keep us fighting over everything they can: religion, race, money. They're going to keep the people divided. So let me paint you a little bit darker of a picture than what she had. If a revolution were to come along, let's say you got a good amount of people to go ahead and decide that they're done with everything as it is, and we're just going to go through and we're going to take things back over. In addition to the problem of the government trying to stop you, you're going to have a problem because most likely your local enforcement groups, police and National Guard, stuff like that, they're not going to be protecting you anymore. And she does talk about that. But even worse, those people in your communities that are extremely racist will not feel like they're being held back anymore. They're going to feel like they're doing the patriotic thing. So you are going to see a situation where if you're cut off from government assistance, if you're cut off from the grid, so to speak, you're going to see a lot of these groups that don't like LGBTQ plus and minorities start just doing what they will with those people. It is going to be bad. This is why we have to work on unifying our country and getting rid of those extremists. Because in any situation where we have a revolution, we're done. It's not going to work because a lot of vulnerable people are going to be just wiped out. And unfortunately, where we're at right now, I don't see it going the way that everybody thinks it is. It's not just going to be better on the other side. And she's right. It's going to be long and drawn out. I think there was an estimate of like 20 years is what it would be. Nobody is prepped for 20 years. I like the comments in there about people like, well, I got my guns. Yeah, and as has been stated numerous times and is correct, your guns, whatever you have, are not going to be enough against a military force. They're just not. I don't care if you even have one of the more modern firearms. It doesn't matter. You're not going to be enough. You and your friends are not going to be enough. If you're a threat, you're going to be taken out. And people brought up, they have drone strikes. They won't even come near your house. They'll just take out your house. That's what it'll be. And we're already classified as a third world nation here in the United States. It'll start to look like it after you decide that you're going to use your limited amount of firearms to do anything. You don't have the supplies. Same when I laugh at certain survivalists, and for the hardcore survivalists, the people that actually have a plan, have done it, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the armchair survivalists, the guys like, well, I'm just going to go live out in the woods, I'll hunt, live, and I'll live out there. And okay, but when you and everybody else is doing that, the food supply is going to be decimated. You guys will starve to death. You have no plan for medication. You have nothing. You just have that same mentality of, well, I got my firearm, I got everything I need. No, you need a lot more than that. And most people can't survive. They don't understand how to survive. We have a lot of stuff passed around the internet about do-it-yourself stuff. There was one recently I looked at, which was make your own laundry detergent. But you can't do that because it doesn't work. And the reason it doesn't is because it's not something that's going to actually clean your clothes in the way you want. Most people that use do-your-own laundry detergents find their clothes end up yellowing and still smelling. So yeah, I guess they're technically clean, but wouldn't the smell indicate bacteria? So I'm talking basic stuff though, right? Washing your clothes is necessary. Having clean clothes may prevent bacteria from adhering to your body. We're also having other issues that aren't in our control. What are we going to do when a natural disaster comes through? And since we're at war with the government, there's no FEMA, there's no disaster relief. People just die and get sick. These things compound. You will see the resurgence of plagues without vaccines available to help people. You will see people starve to death. Unfortunately, everything is so decentralized that you don't have access to anything you need. You don't. And you can only stockpile so much. Medications go bad. Food goes bad. Water can go bad. And you don't have access to any of those. She talks about that. You can't They'll cut off the water supply. They'll cut off the internet. You better bet cell services will go away. All of it will be just crippled, and you will be left with nothing. And without communication, it's very difficult. So, at a minimum, what needs to happen to document this correctly, because it may be inevitable, you should get devices that are not connected to the internet and be able to record things. If that means you're going back to camcorders and VHS tapes to do so, that may be what you need, as archaic as it sounds. But those devices are future-proof to a degree, because you don't need the internet to record on a cassette tape. Hell, even flip video, the old flip video cameras, you might want to be getting stuff like that, because information, as she stated, is going to be the first portion of this and the most important part. You may want to become an archivist. Those people are very important in any conflict with the government. Archivists to show what your government did to you, so people will remember. Because when people can't remember what their governments are doing, when people can't remember how the events went, history starts getting cleaned. It starts getting censored and moved about. So it is very important to document everything that's happening. And that's throughout our history. We saw people during Civil War write many diaries that documented what was happening during every major conflict. So start documenting what's happening. Right now we have that. But if there is an information war to start that leads to revolution, or vice versa, or however it goes, the information is going to be the first thing that's going to be tamped down on. So make sure to save copies of photos and videos, not in the cloud, because companies like Google that may store your data, that data is going to become unusable to you. It may get seized, deleted, whatever it may be. So there is so much more to this topic that I can't even get into it in a short video like this, but I'm just putting out there what she has put out there and elaborating on the fact that no, you are not prepared. None of us are prepared to deal with a revolution. It's not as simple as just one day we flip the table over and, oh my God, here we are, we're getting what we want. No, the people that are in charge, the oligarchs that are in charge of things, are not going to want things to go the way you want them to. And they're going to use their money and resources to make sure that you suffer for your, want for it to be different. And that's how it's going to go. So I wish everyone luck. If things go that way, I don't know where I'd end up in that mix. I have no thoughts of grandeur. I would hope just to survive. But I know in my position, that's not something I'd be able to do. I rely on too much the way this system is set up. And again, that's why this system is set up the way it is.